Canada's flawed housing strategy exposed. High housing costs and affordability at the same time? In an article published on August 11, 2023 in Better Dwelling, the author delves into the recent appointment of Canada's new housing minister, Sean Fraser, and references an interview he recently had with Bloomberg News. The author scrutinizes his initial approach to addressing the pressing issue of housing affordability within the country. He examines Fraser's strategies for addressing the Canadian housing crisis and sheds light on potential pitfalls that might arise from them. The general incompatible strategy of the government articulated by Fraser seems to be that we can somehow have both high housing costs and affordability. The government doesn't want to upset the two-thirds of Canadians that currently own homes by reducing the equity in the homes they own. But, at the same time, they'd like to win over those that don't currently own a home by providing the illusion that the government has a solution to the high cost of becoming a homeowner. Fraser's approach centers on several key tenets, including a focus on increasing the supply of housing units, offering incentives to developers, and expediting the development process. While these strategies might seem logical on the surface, the author undertakes an exploration into the details of each, revealing considerations that cast doubt on their feasibility and potential outcomes. One of the central pillars of Fraser's plan is to ramp up the construction of new housing units, with the belief that a larger supply would naturally lead to more affordable housing options. However, the author critically examines this proposition and breaks down the detailed relationship between supply and demand dynamics. The author argues that such an increase in supply could drive up costs due to heightened demand for labor and construction materials. He also examines the reliance on an aggressive immigration policy to address labor shortages, which in turn will further add to housing demand and drive up prices. Furthermore, the article delves into the complexities of sourcing building materials, emphasizing that the global nature of commodity markets makes it difficult to increase production without facing competition from other regions and industries. The author dismantles the simplistic notion that doubling housing construction would entail an equally straightforward doubling of the supply of raw materials such as lumber, steel, silica, and copper. The global demand for these resources makes it clear that Canada would be entering a competitive arena where supply and demand principles extend beyond the finished product, affecting all components of the construction process. The ripple effects that these material shortages can trigger are highlighted. They reveal that some regions, including British Columbia and Ontario, are having cement shortages, which the policymakers inaccurately attribute solely to labor issues. The reality is that a scarcity of suitable sand has emerged on a global scale, leaving environmentally detrimental options or even materials allegedly controlled by criminal organizations as the remaining choices. Turning attention to the architectural aspect of housing, the author delves into Fraser's proposition of building taller structures to maximize land use efficiency. However, a closer examination of this idea exposes potential shortcomings. The author cites estimations from the Altus Group, indicating that constructing 40 to 60-story towers could cost double the amount per square foot compared to wood-framed townhomes. Surprisingly, the author underscores that despite the substantial cost increase, the overall pricing for units might remain unchanged, thereby maintaining the status quo while compromising living spaces. Turning to the incentives for developers through subsidies and tax breaks, the article discusses the web of economic implications. While Fraser's intent is to stimulate housing supply and thereby induce affordability, the author raises an interesting point, that these incentives might inadvertently end up benefiting real estate investors rather than end users. This perspective stems from the recognition that developers don't dictate the market price of homes. Instead, the market itself exerts this influence. Consequently, the prospect of subsidizing developers may not necessarily lead to lower prices, but it does hold the potential to bolster investor profits in the face of governmental assistance. Fraser's advocacy for accelerating the development process is explored as well. The author acknowledges the potential advantages, such as reduced input costs and minimized expenses for builders. However, The author offers a counterpoint by cautioning against overly broad upzoning pre-approvals, which could inadvertently lead to escalated input costs, undermining the very goal of affordability. This perspective underscores the delicate balance that must be struck between expediting development and ensuring sustainable cost management. Ultimately, the article's core contention lies in challenging the prevailing idea of housing as an investment opportunity. The author posits that the main reason for the affordability crisis might be rooted in the paradox of housing serving simultaneously as a vital necessity for shelter and a lucrative investment avenue. The author points out that stimulating market inefficiencies through speculation often triggers long-term repercussions culminating in market corrections. By illuminating these historical parallels, such as Canada's experiences in the early 1990s, the U.S. housing crisis of 2008, China's challenges in the 1950s, and even France's upheavals in 1789, the article highlights the potential hazards of persistently speculating on the essential requirement of housing. In essence, the article provides an incisive analysis of the new housing minister's strategies and their potential consequences. It offers a comprehensive examination of the complexities underlying these proposals, unearthing deeper considerations that might escape casual observation. The status quo is challenged and invites readers to reconsider the multifaceted nature of the housing affordability crisis and its far-reaching implications for both individuals and economies. An ongoing discourse surrounding Canada's housing policies and their impacts on society must be undertaken by both the public and the Canadian government to solve the current Canadian housing crisis. What do you think? Can housing costs in Canada remain high while providing affordable housing for those that currently do not own a home? Please join in on the conversation by leaving a comment. If you found this video and information useful, please smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so we can keep providing you with timely information you can apply on a daily basis.